I am winded. Androidville is a big place. I don't know if you noticed that. We're here with Pebble and Eric to talk about what Pebble is, but also, of course, about how Android ties in and developers who are creating some cool stuff for this watch. So talk us through what Pebble is, and we'll get to why running's tied into this as well.
So Pebble's a smartwatch that talks to your cell phone. You can do things, normal watch things like look at the time and stopwatch and that kind of stuff. But the really cool thing about Pebble is that you can write apps for the watch and integrate Pebble with apps that run on your Android phone. So we're today launching an SDK that enables Android developers to push intents to our app that get forwarded to the watch.
That's very cool. So it's a watch, it's a platform as well in a sense, and you've partnered with Runkeeper to talk about one here today that a lot of people who are jogging and runners would appreciate, because you get that at a glance sort of a use with your watch rather than having to pull out your phone.
Yeah, the idea is, so Runkeeper is the first app that we've integrated with, and we were just chatting with their developer this week. He was able to integrate Runkeeper with Pebble in about 1 hour. So what that meant was he added features that were unavailable to Runkeeper users before, and using Pebble, yeah, it just makes his own app that much better. So one of the really cool things you can do is, if you're going for a run, you know, normally when you're going for a run with Runkeeper, you've got your phone going, your GPS connected in your pocket. But if you're, say, stopped to, you see a friend on the street or something like that, and you chat for a moment, you have to press the pause button in the app, or it auto detects it after a little while. But with Pebble, if you want to pause, you can just pause it, and then when you want to start your activity again, you can just click the button here, and
activity resumed.
And it starts your run again. The cool thing about Pebble and Runkeeper together is that instead of having to look at your phone to see your stats, like your distance traveled, your lapse time, or your pace, you can just look down to your watch and see all that detail is sort of on your watch. It's kind of like a heads-up display for the app.
And any advice you would give to developers who are really excited about doing something for Pebble, whether it's something related to sports or activities or just getting through life without having to pull out your phone all the time? I mean, what sort of things are you looking at coming down the pike?
Well, I think at the beginning, Pebble's going to be really useful for sports and fitness applications. That heads-up display is going to be great. I could imagine, going for a day on the mountain, like skiing with Pebble, instead of having to take my phone out on the chairlift to see who's called or who sent me an email, I can just look down at my watch and see that, and then at the same time see, how fast I've been going. Other things that are great with Pebble are notifications. So what we really want to encourage people to do is use Pebble use Pebble as well as the notification bar. So if your app spits out notifications that pop up on the top notification shade, you can also register an intent that will send that notification to the watch. So imagine if you're writing an IM client or a stock market app or a weather app or any sort of local check-in app. It would be great to be able to get those notifications right on your wrist. The user can feel the vibration from the watch and instantly see what's going on without even pulling out their phone.
Tell me a little bit about the history of Pebble for folks who don't know. You got your start, in a sense, on Kickstarter. Huge response. Coming out when? What sort of interest have you seen since you announced this?
Yeah, so we've been working on watches for a little while now, but we launched Pebble, our latest watch, on Kickstarter a couple months ago. In about 1 month, we had we sold over 85,000 watches, and the Pebble watches will start coming out in the fall, and users will start downloading apps for Pebble watches right around then. So we're opening our SDK out. Actually, today we're launching the Android SDK, and more portions of the SDK will come out over the summer. People will be able to write their own watch faces that actually run right on the watch, but today's the first time that we're talking about the intent-based API, which allows Android developers to push intents to the watch.
Any other sort of advice you would give to developers who are curious about doing something with this?
We're going to have an emulator out in August, so not only could you start developing before the watch comes out, but you'll actually be able to see what your app will look like when you push things to the watch in August.
Very cool. Are you wearing this all the time pretty much now?
24/7, yeah. It's cool.
Great. Eric, thank you so much. And I've got watch envy at the moment. I feel like I've got to get a hold of one. How can people get one if they want one still?
If you go to getpebble.com, you can get in line for picking up a watch. And if you're a developer, you can go to developer.getpebble.com to check it out.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
And I got to run off now. Okay.